Keith Abel here, shooting another quick blog post. I'm just curious, would it surprise you to realize that there are a lot of people that want you to spend a lifetime in financial bondage? That's right, they want you to be a slave. They want you paying them forever. Now, there's a lot of bubbles that have happened in my lifetime. We've had the Y2K bubble, the technology bubble, the Wall Street bubble, and most recently the housing crisis bubble, where things just got out of control and then came crashing down. Well, the next big bubble that I think is going to bust is the education bubble. Now, don't get me wrong. I think education is a good thing, and I do support knowledge and learning. I'm constantly improving my skills through education. But I'll tell you, our university system is just completely out of control and setting up kids to have a lifetime of debt. I just found out that more than 38 million Americans have student loans right now totaling over $1 trillion. At the end of June, they were paying about 3.4% on those loans. On July 1st, they went up to 6.8%. They doubled, 6.8%. So here's what's happened over the course of the last 10 or so years. Since 2003, from 2003 to 2013, student loan debt has quadrupled. In the past 10 years, it's quadrupled. The average price for a year in college back in 1980 was $8,756 for a 4-year college degree. Today, it's $21,657 per year. That means to the students going to a 4-year college today, they're going to have about $100,000 in student loans that they're going to have to pay back once they get out. And do you think it's easy for a college graduate to get a job in today's marketplace? I want you to think again. It's tough for a college graduate, a recent college graduate, to go and get a job. To get a job, let alone to get a job that's going to pay them a decent amount of income to have a living and to pay to get out of that student loan debt in any kind of foreseeable future. I know people in their 30s and 40s today that still have student loans that they're still dealing with. Now, the cost of education, the cost of the university education, has gone up over three times the rate of the consumer price index. In other words, when looking at the cost of living, it's gone up over 3 times the cost of living. It's gone up by almost 600% since 1980, while the consumer price index has gone up about 150%. I want you to think about that. Student education, shouldn't education kind of match everything else that's going on in the world today? For the most part, it's a racket. It's a system designed to keep you in debt, to learn about jobs that, guess what? Most of them are going to be obsolete by the time you get out. You don't think that advances in every form of technology in every single field is not going to change the educational and the job outlook that's going on in the world around you? It certainly has in my field in pharmacy. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I told you that I am a fan of education. I'm just not a fan of financial bondage for people. The number of student borrowers has increased 66% from 2005 to 2012. The average student loan balance increased 49% from 2005 to 2012. Student loans now surpasses, when it comes to total debt by borrowers, student loans now surpass credit card or auto debt. It's just an absolute epidemic. Now, you want to go to college, that's fantastic, wonderful. Here's my advice for somebody that wants to go to college. Learn a specific skill. All these generic programs, these generic college experiences don't really prepare you to do what you need to do. Learn a specific skill and learn it well. Why not take charge of your own future? Why not, while you're going to school, take 10 hours a week and apply it to a business that will pay for your school? What if you could just make $1,000 or $2,000 extra per month, part-time, in a business that you're passionate about, and use all of that money to pay for your education experience? What a different situation you'd be in to leave your education experience debt-free and have a cash flow business in addition to your diploma. Wouldn't that be a better way? Now, all the credit card companies and the banks, the government, it seems like everybody in the world wants you to stay in debt, in bondage to them. I don't want you to live like that way. I want you to be free, to have choices, to have options, to not spend 20 or 30 years working to pay for a piece of paper. You'll actually, more than likely, pay for that piece of paper 2 or 3 times over by the time they get all the interest charges and fees that have been stacked up against you. Then you can use your education to do whatever you want to do in this world, but you're not going to be a slave in the process. Would it be okay if I showed you a better way? A way that will create a future? What I love most about what I'm seeing right now in this business, it's the young people in this business. They're rising up and they're saying, to heck with the old model, to heck with this economy, to heck with people being in charge of my life. I'm going to use this business to my own future, to be debt-free, to be totally in charge. Would it be okay if I tell you about a friend of mine? He was in his first year of graduate school when he and his wife discovered that she was pregnant with triplets. He didn't know what he was going to do. He was going to need 3 of everything. He wouldn't be able to provide for all those different expenses and continue to go to school. He really didn't know what he would do. Then his father introduced him to a business that he could do part-time around his school schedule, something that was flexible and that he controlled. He saw the value and the possibilities and he jumped right in. By the time he graduated from school, he not only had all of his student loan debt paid off, he actually had a residual income built up that allowed him to make choices about his future. Because his business was doing so well, he never actually pursued a career with the degree that he earned. Would it be okay if I shared some additional information with you, some information that will show you how to be free, to have choices, to have options, to not spend 20 or 30 years working to pay for a piece of paper, how to use your education to do whatever you want to do in life without being a slave to your student loan debt? Visit my website, nomoreboss.info. That's NOMOREBOSS.info. Or give me a call, 502-212-2929. I don't want you to be in financial bondage, so let me show you a better way.